up. Hello. Am I audible? Okay. So, yeah, both cannot be done at the same time, right? We cannot give like a service was also awesome as well as also it was the bad, like, so we want to choose only one of them. So if we are going to do the same task in a HTML, then what we will be going to use, like, anyone? Radio button, yes, exactly. We will going to use the radio button to select only one option from the multiple option. Yes, we are going to use the radio button. So as the same, here we will also going to use the radio button. So there will be the list of so many services. So we are going to create one radio group. Will be wrap content. Height will also be wrap content. We will also provide the orientation because we want to get the vertical list of radio button. So we are going to make it as a vertical. Another, we will also going to provide the ID, and the ID of that will be we can set div options. Now, let's add our first radio button. We'll also provide ID. Like 20%. You are observing that we are going to provide ID to all of the views that we are including. So anyone has idea like why we are including ID to the every widget that we are using? Why we require ID? Like why we just can't use it without ID? Yes, it is absolutely right that we need to perform some actions on them. Yes, and for that, we need to identify that particular ID, that particular element. Yes, as it would be different for the each and every options. Yes, it is right. So it will be different. It will try to uniquely identify each of, yes, ID is a unique. So yes, all of you are correct. So it will uniquely identify the each of the text view or the edit text what we are using, whatever we'll be using, it will uniquely identify that. So for that, we are going to add the ID to that. So, so here option 20%. We need also some text, right, to display, like if it is amazing, amazing. then we will give them 20% of tip. So now here I could show you. Here you can see that our radio button is available with the text like amazing, then 20%. If the service is amazing, then we will give them a 20% of tip, right? So now here you are seeing that we are providing the text in a hard coded form. Like here I am writing the amazing, then 20%. Like what if I have so many lines of code, and what if I have so many widgets in my single layout, then it will be so difficult to like write each and everything like here, and it will not be good approach to code, right? So for the good approach, what we are going to do is, like, in the like I have said in the yesterday's session, in this values folder, here you will find the strings.xml, right? So here we were going to define all of the strings that we are going to use in this app. So it will be, so we just need to reference it in our XML file. So it will be very easy. Like if I want to change the text of something, like if I want to, like, cost of service, instead of cost of service I want to use that total amount of bill, right? And this text I've used 5 times in my one XML, then it would be so difficult, like, to change. If it is hard coded, then it would be so difficult to change in every 5 lines of code, right? So it will be difficult. So what we are going to do is, here whatever the strings we were going to use, then we will define it in this here. Sorry, my Android Studio is freeze. I'm not able to. So are you guys following until now? Yes, okay, that's good. Anyone is here, like, who is doing along with me? Let me also share, like, which we are going to link of Codelab. Let me just provide you so that you can, if you are again, you can also refer that if you find any kind of difficulty. This is the lab of this is the link of our Codelab. No, we are have installed in a laptop. Oh, it's okay. Also, yeah. Now, so we need to provide the name through which we will identify the string. So, and here we need to provide the value, like when the post of service we need to print, like what we need to access. So it is the value. So we will also need to ask the question, right? What to uh, include, but we will also need to ask the question, like, how is the how is the service? service, like what if it is amazing? So we can say that amazing service, amazing, and we need to also display the percentage. So like amazing, then with the good service, we'll give them 80%.
Excuse me. आपकी स्क्रीन
Yes,
फ्रीज हो गई है.
okay. Let me again share it. So I'm sharing it again. So just a second. Now is it visible properly? I mean, let's change the tab so that you can see that it is freezing or not. Okay, okay. So let's continue. Uh, we will also provide them one option, like if you want to round up the tip or not. So for that, we'll also define. Sorry. And we will provide one button through which they can calculate. And at the end, we will add the tip amount. We will show them the tip amount to be given. Okay. So here we have defined all of the strings, right? So let's use it in this our file. So now here we can remove this hard-coded string and we can reference that string that we have defined using at the rate. Here you can see that we have options available like string slash. Here all of it is showing all of the strings that we have defined. So here we will use the string cost of service. Here also we will remove that and we will use amazing service. Now we will have three radio button to save our time. I'm just copying it and paste it twice. Now here we need to change the ID. It is so obvious. Here we will give them a 15%. And yes, again, my Androids to use these. Yeah, alright. Here we have OK service. You also need to include the text. Here also we need to define that what the default radio button will be selected. So there is one property called the check button. So by default the 20% will be selected. So in the design, you can see here 3 radio buttons are there. And our text is also there. Let's first add the text view. It should be a flat content. We are also going to provide the ID to that. And also we need to provide some text. So anyone else? So here we have got our text. Anyone? Any one of you is saying something? I guess Monarch. It's okay, it's completely fine. Here it is showing us some error. Let's see. I can take. Yeah, it has one. Yeah, now it is fine. Okay. So now we want to provide one switch so that he can round up the tip. Like if we want to, we will provide one switch here. So for that, it will be horizontal. Like in the left hand side, the text will be displayed that asks the question like you want to round up the trip or a tip or not. And in the right hand side, it will show the switch. So for that, we will also going to use another linear layout, which will be the width will be the mesh parent, and that will be rep content. And we will also going to provide uh, one orientation because we are going to get we want the horizontal. So sorry, orientation to horizontal. Here we will give one switch. Default we will be checked it as true. We are also going to provide ID to that. Round up tip and also provide the text for that, like round up tip. Okay, so here you can see that the switch and the text both are available. So at the end, uh, at the last, we require a button, right, to calculate that. So we're going to add button. We need to provide the ID as the same. We need to also provide text, which is calculate. Okay, so button is also at the ready, and now here you can see that our layout is almost ready. At the end, we will include the last element, which is the text value. Yes, we have not defined it. Yes, we have defined it. Peak amount. Let's hard code it because now let's just skip it because it will dynamically display, so it is not required. So here you can see that our layout is ready completely. So let's run the app so that we can see that it is looking perfect or not. Yes, here the typing mistake. Here, string. So, guys, any doubt until now? What we have done? Any doubt? So, are you enjoying or you are getting bored? Like, you can give me honest answer. It's completely fine. Okay. Okay, so it's taking so much time. So let's just, it will look just like this. So let's just skipping it, and let's move to the coding part. Like we have designed, right? But in order to calculate the tip, uh, yeah, it is run. So let's just see that. And now here you can see that everything is added. Now here the user will enter the cost of service, the total amount of bill. Then the question will be asked like how was the service. Then out of that he will choose one of the radio button according to him. And then if you want to round up the tip or not, based on that he will select it, and after that he will calculate it. So it will look as much as what we want. Okay, so let's just jump to the coding part. Okay, so in order to calculate, like our code need to access all of the UI elements to read the input from the user, and also the Android framework provides a method like what find view by ID, but that doesn't exactly does what you need. Like given the ID of a view returns the reference to it, and this approach works. But as you add more items and more views to your app, the UI becomes more complex. Like using the find view by ID, and it can become more like sometimes difficult. So for the convenience, Android also provide the feature called the view binding, like with a little more workup in the front. So the view binding makes it much easier and faster to call the methods and on the view on your UI. And you will need to enable the view building of your app in the Gradle, so that make we need to make some changes to our Gradle file. Like as we have done in the last session, we need also to do some changes in this Gradle file. Here we need to add build features, and there is property called the view binding, and we need to set it true. Okay, now here we need to sync that. So just click on sync now. It will build the Gradle again. So what is a Gradle? Anyone has any idea about it? Okay, yep, enjoying, but be little fast in the flow. Okay, I will be fast little bit. Okay, so as you can see, our project is synced. So let's jump to our main activity. Here we need to create the binding object that we are going to use. So for that, here we are going to initiate it, this object. So the binding was let's just put it above it, and this we are instead of this, so it's just fine. We have bind our layout with our binding object. So first we need to create a function, and when the function will be called, when the user will click on that button, right? So first we need to assign the listener to the click listener to that particular button. So for that, let's just we are running out of time, I guess. So let's just, I think I should copy and paste the code, and okay. So now here it is showing us error because there is a no such a function till now. So we are going to create it. Okay. So here we have the function. Let's just copy paste it. Okay. So in this line of code, what we have done is, like, when the user we have assigned one click listener to the button. So it will be like when the user clicks the button, then it will be understood by the system, like the button has been pressed. So we have assigned the click listener to that, and then here we have get the string in the text, like we are accepting the cost of services. So we have fetched and stored into the variable, and then the we are converting this to the double. Why we are converting to the double? Because the user has entered the string, and for the calculation what we require is, it must be either integer or number or double, anything, right? So we have to convert it. So here in this variable we have converted to the string to the double, and then we are checking that if the cost is null, then in the tip dot result that we have defined the last text view in our after the button. So we will set the text to the empty, like if nothing is selected, then what will going to display? So it will be blank, right? Then so it is for the empty condition, like if the text is a blank empty, right? If the edit text view is empty, then what we are going to what we are here we are doing is, like in the tip percentage variable, we are accepting the tip percentage that is selected from the list of the radio buttons that we have defined, right? In the radio button we have multiple radio buttons, so we need to identify that which radio button is a clicked, right? And so for that we can also use the if and else condition, but Kotlin provides a better option, which is the which is the use of when. So we are using it. Okay. we are referencing, then we need to import that number format. Number format is the method. Here also in the strings.html, like we have to do some changes like in the tip amount. At the end, we will need to specify the percentage as. Why the percentage as? Because we will setting the text, like whatever the number will be generated, we will going to print like that. So for that we are going to specify the percentage as, like, so here we were like, if the 20% option is selected, then we want to set it as 20. Like if the 80% is selected, then we want to print it as 0%. What is the formula is, like tip is to tip percentage into the cost. What is the tip percentage? The selected value from the radio button, right? If it is 20% or 18% or 15%, so it is the value of the tip. Like, so this is the tip percentage into the cost. And what will be the cost? It will be the total amount of bill that we have generated, right? So this value will be stored inside the tip variable. Like and here we are seeing if the ending dot roundup switch is checked, like we have, I guess, yes, in the switch. Roundup tip dot is checked. We need to see that it is checked or not. Is checked. Okay. And if the round which is on, and if the user wants to round up the amount, then one function in the Kotlin like to sell the tip. Of course, you might be aware of it. So we want to, there is a method for sale, so we are going that on. And here at the last, we are formatted going to do is like we are going to format the currency, like like we are using the dollar sign, so we need to get the currency instance from that. And here we are showing the setting the as a text, like tip result dot text. So we are getting the string to the tip amount. Like, let's try to run the app. And so I'll just copy and paste the code so that further so anyone has any doubt, like that particular part in depth? Anyone? Because there are some other exciting concepts. Of you? Yes. How many of you have one of the app uh, from this provided Codelab at your time? like after the session, or anyone has tried to build whatever we have covered in this past 2 days? Guys, just please try to give some response. Let's just run this. So now here you can see that. Now let's try the app. Okay, so we are going to add cost of services as suppose 56. Like, how was the service? Like, it was good. And do you want to round up the tip? We are setting as off, and then we press the calculate. Here, guys, you can see that we have defined the text view. Now here you can see that it is showing us the value like 10.08. So what if we are making this switch on? Then it will then again calculate. Now you can see that it is 11. Why? Because of this function that we are calling, which is the sale. So it will round up the number. Now let's try to give another value like 750. It was amazing. And now then calculate. Now here you can see that $150, that dollar sign is indicated through the we have called the method like a get currency instance, and we are formatting it, so that's why we are getting that.
just on pause and on resume. Okay, so up till now you can get that right. We have seen this three different scenario when we close this application by pressing back button, this on destroy method is called, and when we just close it by pressing this on button, this on stop method will be called, and whenever we those two occurs and then change your focus to another activity, but activity is still visible, this on pause method will be called. Okay, so now we how know how to log the message. So there is one time desert timer available, and what it will do is whenever we start this desert timer, it will start logging from 1 to 10, 1 to continuous, and whenever we stop this desert timer, it will stop it. Okay. So what we want to do is we will start the timer whenever the application is start getting on start method. Okay. So let's do it whenever this and see how it operates. This desert timer is available here and this logs the time second every time timer at second turn. This is very simple code. You can just read it and understand it. And if you didn't get anything from this, you can reach out to any of us on any social media handle. So it's always open for we are always open for all to solve your doubts. So let's start this timer in on starts and when we want to stop it on stop. Okay, so let's do it here and let's run this application. And let's wait until our changes applies. Okay, 1 minute. Don't know why this is crashing. Let me run it again. Okay, so I know good the error because we have created this desert timer class and we didn't get the instance of it. So for need this, we need to instance of this desert timer and then we can just start the timer. So let's run this again. I hope it don't show error this time. Yes, it started. And yes, it should be printing message like let's see this. Yes, the timer is available. What why it was not showing? Because for that we have searched it to the main activity tag, but it is available in desert timer tag class, and for that tagline is desert timer. So we have to change it to the I/desert timer or we remove it. This is starting, and whenever we press this home button, this on stop method will be called and the timer is stopped. And whenever we start it again, the on resume and timer starts from again. So what you can, I am not going to show all the steps, but what you can do is you can start this timer and press it in this on create, then on pause, and this on stop timer and press it in on destroy and on restart and try various combination and see what happens exactly when your application is getting focused and when the timer is stopped, when the timer is getting restarted. You can just try it out, and whenever you didn't get anything you can reach out to any of us. So it is up to you. And also I want to add one thing. What happens when we call this on destroy method and in on pause method? So any guys idea about it? I can confirm it. It will crash your application, but you should not do this. But for learning purpose, you can try out everything. And I love to do this kind of experiment, which may crash your application, but you can learn many things from application. And this debugging is always helpful to debug any application. And That's all from my side. And this knowledge of activity and this life cycle method you are going to use for your fragment in your next session that will be conducted by Nitant. And I am going to stop presenting my screen. And this is all up to I want to deliver. And any of you have any doubt, yes, you can just unmute yourself or type any message, or you get everything which I have shown, or you are not paying attention. You can just tell us, right? Got it. Okay. It's always good. So now, Nitant, you can take over this session.
So thank you, Shyam. Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay. Are you guys sleeping? Okay, okay. Just wake up for a while because not properly. Okay. See, today the point or the topic which I am going to cover is fragments. And if you ask me that after activity, which is one of the most important core concepts of Android, I will say fragments. The reason it will be very clear to you as we move on. Um, Let me first ask you guys: do you know anything about like fragments? The word fragment. I'm not asking for your fragment in Android, but the word fragment itself. What does it mean? Partition, yes, yes. Parts, yes. So as Shyam said, our application is made up of various activities, right? Each and every screen which you see on your device is an activity. For example, you open WhatsApp. Just okay, first let me make it very clear. What will be my approach? I will cover first basically the what part, why part, and then the how part. I will place, I will, just copy the code from the Codelabs and I will paste into it. Why I am doing so? Because I want to cover the concepts part rather than only the code part. You will understand the code part. Just be with me. Okay. Because what happens is there are huge lines of code, and if I'm typing something, then it might occur that it results into error. And also we have a shortage of time. So considering that, okay. Now let me again shift here. What are activities? See, for example, when you open WhatsApp, you see list of chats, right? So you can consider it as an activity. When you tap into a screen and individual chat opens, you can consider it as another activity. When you see the status, you can consider it as another activity. So the point I'm trying to make here is our application is made up of activities, right? So you must ask me that why Nitant, why we are shifting to fragments when everything is made up of activities. Again, see, back 10 years back, in before Honeycomb was introduced, all the Android development was done via activities. So first, let me share my screen so you guys can see something. I hope my screen is visible to you. Types of activity can be fragmented. So due to it, yes, you are right. See, before honeycomb was introduced, consider this. This is a tablet, right? If this tablet has a comparatively larger screen than this mobile phone, so if I'm placing only one activity, then can I say that I'm wasting the space of this tablet? If this one activity is inside a smaller screen, then it will be fairly sufficient. But if it is in the larger screen, then can I say that I am not utilizing the space very well? Can I say like that? Because it can hold multiple parts in it because it has larger screen, right? So instead of placing only one activity, can I do something twist here and there, and can I do something some kind of solutions? Will it be efficient? What do you think? Should I do it or not? Repeat. Okay. See, consider this. This portion is a tablet, right? Here, in the tablet you have comparatively wider screen, bigger screen compared to this mobile phone. Now, as I said that each and every screen is made up of activity. So the entire thing which you see over here is an activity. The entire thing which you see over here is an activity. But this mobile phone, this tablet has capacity to hold multiple activities in it. Like this can be one activity, this can be another activity, and something like that. Whereas this phone has capacity to hold only single activity, but it has capacity to hold multiple activities. Are you guys clear, or should I again repeat myself? Okay, clear. So the point I'm trying to make here is instead of using the entire activity in the single large screen, we will divide into fragments. Just like imagine a situation of sandwich. The sandwich is divided into multiple fragments, right? Similarly, we will do that in our entire screen, we will partition it into various fragments. So why we are using fragments, it is clear? Yes, clear and booked. Yeah, yeah, sandwich, yeah. So do you guys remember my scam analogy? See, try to be a bit interactive. Yeah, yeah. Only a single 1 or 2% are replying yes. Yeah, Manu Mundra. Yes. See, unfortunately or fortunately, I won't be able to continue it, that analogy, because I want to dive deep into some technical parts here. So just for refreshing your memories, I asked it. Now fragments, talking about more about fragments. As Shyam explained, activity have life cycle. Similarly, fragments also have life cycle. We will just skim over through this because it is a purely theoretical portion and I want to also cover some practical aspects. So just like activity, it has the on create method, on create view method, then on activity created method, on start, on resume, and all these kind of things. You will say now, okay, these are all the methods. How, which method will we use frequently? See, the method which we all use frequently is these four methods: on attach, on create view, and on activity created. Uh, Again, look back here. The fragment is a part of an activity, right? Each and one activity can be made up of multiple fragments. So what I will do is first I will there are mainly three steps to create a fragment. First step is I will create a fragment. Second step is I will define its layout, and third thing is I will attach it to the activity. Again, I am repeating myself. First step is I will create the sandwich. The second step is I will stuff the sandwich, and the third step is I will place the sandwich inside the plate. Now, in terms of fragment, I will create the fragment, I will define the layout of the fragment, and I will place the fragment inside an activity. So far clear? Yes. Great. So the end goal of this our workshop is we will create this kind of application. This, okay, let me just shift. Yeah. So we will create this quiz application in which you can see over here, this can be called as an activity. The single screen which you see over here is a fragment, right? The Android trivia and the play button, it's a fragment. When we press the play button, this fragment is replaced with this fragment. We will have questions, then options, and then after selecting one option, we will click on submit button. And we will have three continuous questions. And if we are successfully answering all the three questions, then it will show something like this: congratulations. And if we are not able to do so, then it will show something like this: try again. So again, what will be our flow? This will be our home screen, which will be our fragment. Then whenever the user clicks on the play button, then this fragment is replaced with the game fragment. Whenever the user finishes his or her own quiz, then if he has answered the three questions successfully, then it will be a congratulation message. And finally, if he is not able to do so, then it will be try again. So clear about what we are trying to develop? Yeah. And also look into these two options. There is a back button, and there is this hamburger icon. In Android, we call it as hamburger icon because it is like hamburger. You will say that okay, sandwich, hamburger, just stop it, man. Okay. Then here, the three dots which you see are known as the context menu. These three dots, do you see in any real world applications? I want to just ask you. These three dots, do you see in any real world application? We guys are frequently using it. Yes, which application? WhatsApp. Do you remember WhatsApp? The layout of WhatsApp? Yeah. Yes, for the WhatsApp. So this is known as the context menu. So we will implement the context menu. We will implement this navigation drawer. In more sophisticated term, it is known as the navigation drawer, and we will build these different fragments. So we should start. Are you guys excited? Or should I repeat myself? Yes. Okay. Now I will present my Android Studio to you guys. I hope my screen is visible. And this is the Codelab which we will follow. First this Codelab and then the next Codelab, which I will share further with you guys. So basically, when you start with this Codelab, they have provided this starter application, which has all these kind of things like a drawable, layout. They have defined all these kind of things, right? And we need to do something. And don't worry about all these codes. It is just a starter code, which is provided by Google itself. So we won't worry about this, right? Okay, yes. Another great question that I would like to ask you. What is strings dot or what is strings.xml file, or what is any XML file that Android does? Because over here you see many XML files, right? And there will be more XML files regarding this. So I want to ask, are you guys aware of any XML? What is XML or any kind of things? Layout file, yes. So basically, XML defines in Android, XML defines the layout. So in our fragment, we will define the class. Let us say this game one fragment. We will define our class, which will extend the fragment. So first step, we will define a class which will extend the fragment. Second step, we will define the corresponding layout. And third step, we will attach this fragment to our activity. Again, I'm repeating myself. First, we will create the fragment. Second, we define the layout. And third thing, we will attach it. So far clear? Yes. Great. So now let me run this application, this starter application, and see what it has. So can you guys see my phone? Yeah. So this is the starter application. It doesn't have anything in it. And we will try to build the one which I showed to you guys, something like something like a game application. So again, let me move back to the code. See, I'm not presenting my entire screen because I will frequently navigate here and there, and there are chances that it might lag on the Google Meet. Okay, great. Now, let me first start with the defining navigation, or let us first start with defining the fragment, right? You guys must be wondering how do we create the fragment? So, on this Java folder, on this package file, just right click, go to the new, define fragment and the blank fragment. Just define the name of the fragment. For now, I will specify the title, fragment, and any layout file. Because in future we are going to delete this layout file because they have already provided the layout. So just now it is for temporary. I am specifying any name and click on finish. Now you must say that, oh, what is all this codes? So don't worry about this. We will remove all the major code here, like because currently we don't require any of this. Just make it very simple, and let me also remove this on create. Yeah. So we have defined the title fragment, which extends from this fragment class, and it has the override on create view method in it. So far, any doubt? I have just created a fragment, and now we will define the layout of it. Should I repeat myself how we can create the fragment, or should I continue? No. Okay. Now the next step is, okay, we have defined the fragments, right? Now what about the layout? If we go in the layout folder, we already have the fragment underscore title layout, which is provided in our starter code. So we will use this layout. Let me guide you a brief about this layout. This layout has simply a button in it and an image view. And if you want to preview it, then this is how it looks. Let me maximize it. Yeah. So it has an image view and it has the play button. So this is basically our home screen. Now what we want to do is whenever the user clicks on the play button, we should start the game and all these kind of things. So first, let us don't worry about this. And let me first delete this file which was generated while we created the fragment because we don't require it for now. Now, inside the title fragment, as I said you, there are mainly two steps involved. First is to create a fragment. Second is to define the layout. Now we need to say that, okay, this fragment has this fragment underscore title layout in it. How do we do so? We will simply use inflator.inflate and then r dot layout dot fragment underscore title. So you guys must be wondering what is this code? Inflator.inflate. See, in Microsoft and specifically when you are developing an application, you encounter this term inflator.inflate. And you must be familiarized with this. What it means is, now let me ask you a question. We have mainly two kinds of file here. We have the class file, which has all the codes in it, and we have the XML file which defines the layout. So whenever Android is executing this, whenever Android is executing our application, what do you think it will execute? The XML file or the code? What it will execute? What it should execute? The XML file or the Kotlin file? Yeah, the Kotlin file. Yes. So there must be some way to convert this XML file to Kotlin file. For this, the inflator method or the inflator object is usually here. The inflator object has this inflate method, which takes in the inflate method basically says that, okay, provide me the layout, provide me the parent container, and I will handle the rest. I will convert this layout inside into a code. It is it is like that. We don't have to worry about how this XML is converted into the code file. This inflate method will do it for ourselves. Now, two things we have done. We have defined the fragment, we have defined the layout, and also we have defined that this fragment will have layout with it. Now let me go to this activity main XML. And as I said, you create a sandwich, you have the sandwich, and then you place the sandwich inside the plate. Simply, you have created the fragment, you have defined the layout. Now it is time to inform to the activity that it will have the fragment in it. For this, let me add a fragment. So let me add this fragment over here. Okay. Now this ID plus title fragment because wait a second, because I have not provided the title. Yeah, just a second, guys. Because as this fragment over here doesn't have any ID. Okay, great. Now, see, just a second. Again, coming, I have messed up in the title fragment class. Yes. Here, as I said you, how in the earlier object, in the earlier way, what we were doing is we were calling the inflate method, and with the help of this inflate method, we were binding the XML to this. We were converting the XML to the Kotlin file, right? This is very similar to that. Instead of the inflator object, we are calling it with the data binding util, which is very similar to the inflator, and we are specifying that which class it has to deal with. So it has to deal with the fragment title binding, and finally we are specifying the layout and the container. Okay. So far, any doubts? No. Okay, great. Now let me go to this activity main XML file. And just a second. It has defined the title fragment, and it has the root. Now it is the activity XML, which has defined the title. Yeah, so instead of doing this, I can create the resource. So up now the steps are clear. Now it's time to move ahead. Next step is we will define the various. Let me share the further steps with you guys. Yeah. So up till now, we have successfully created this. We have successfully created the this title fragment, which has this play button inside it. Now it's time to define the navigation portion, right? So all these arrows, you must be wondering what it is. It is navigation. When I click on the play button, it should navigate to the submit. When I click on the submit, it should either move on to the try again part, or it should move to the congratulations. And after that, if you guys can see here, there is the next match button, and when I click on the next match, the game should restart. Similarly, if I click on the try again the game should restart. So these two back arrows define it. So can you say that this entire thing is like a graph? One node is connected with other, and this is connected with this two. Are you guys familiar with what is graph at least? What is graph data structure? Yes. So can I say that it was nothing but a graph? Yeah. Yes. So why I am defining it? Like see, whenever you want to do navigation in Android, earlier, like a few years back, we need to code everything. We need to code that we need to maintain a stack. Again, do you guys know what is stack? Even if you don't, it is perfectly fine. Just say me. Do you guys know what is a stack? What is a graph? And other similar data structures? Because it will yeah, okay. So let me ask you, what is a stack? Can you guys just quickly say me what is a stack? Because entire, yes, it is a LIFO. Yes. So entire, you can see that this relation, we define it via graph. That means this activity is connected to this is connected to this we define it via graph, and inside it, inside the Android system, it is maintained like stack. See, first user was here, so it will this title fragment will be pushed into the stack. Then user went over here, so this game fragment will be pushed into the stack. Then the game over fragment will be pushed into the stack. So an entire stack is maintained as the user navigates from one app to another app, right? Making sense of it? Why we are using stack? And similarly, if we want to go from this activity to this activity, then we will simply pop this. And again, if we are going from this to this, we are simply, as long as we move ahead, we will push it, and as we come back, we will pop it. Making sense? Yes or no? Or should I repeat myself? Yes, great. So this kind of behavior we want to implement here. So what we can do? First, let us define this graph, right? First thing is we need to define the relations, that this activity is connected with this is connected with this, and this all things. So for the first, let us define this. How we will do so? Yeah. So let me run this app and show you guys about what how we are actually, where we are actually. So it will take some time to install. It is installing. Guess there is some problem in the installation. Let me again run it. Yeah. So you guys can see here. Is now the screen visible? My Android phone. So up till now, we have created this fragment, we have defined the layout, and we have bind it with the activity. Now what we need to do is, we need to define our relation. As I said you, we need to define the relations, right? So for that, just go in this resource file, right click on this resource file, click on new Android resource file, and let me name it as navigation, because it will direct our navigation. And from the resource type, select navigation, and make sure that you don't select anything over here, and just click on OK. Yeah. So before navigation, before adding some navigations, let me add a dependency. Now, what is a dependency? See, as I earlier said you, before we were before like 2 to 3 years back, when we are developing Android applications, we were controlling entire navigation portion, animation, and every kind of things. But now Android is providing the navigation component, and we can include that navigation component. So we as a developer don't need to worry about anything. So let me include those two dependencies. For including the dependency, you must go in the build.gradle file, in the project level build.gradle file, and inside the ext, copy and paste this code. The entire code is available in the Codelab, so don't worry about it. And then click on sync now. And similarly, in the build.gradle file of the individual application, we need to add two dependencies. See, AndroidX.navigation and AndroidX.navigation UI kit. So this two, as we include these two dependencies, it says that okay, the user wants to do some kind of navigation works. So hide all the complexity and you manage all the complexities, right? So making sense why we are including this dependency? Yes or no, or should I repeat myself? Okay. Now, it is saying that first thing, as I said, we need to define the graph, right? So we will just first we will go in this plus icon and we will include the fragment. First is the title fragment, which is our base fragment. See, now you guys will know that how easy it is to define the navigation in now in the later versions of the Android. You just simply click on this plus icon and you include your fragment. Let's say that our next fragment is the game fragment, and let me drag it and place it over here. Yes. See, now you must think that okay, we defined the title fragment, but from where the game fragment is coming from. As I said, you it is a starter code, so all the fragments are predefined here. The game fragment, so every layout and every code is predefined over here, so we don't need to worry about it. We just need to learn the navigation portion, right? As you can see that in the title fragment, it is showing us the preview, but in the game fragment, it is not. So again, there are some like mistakes in the starter code. So to fix it, we can just copy this code of the fragment and let me include this in the game fragment, right? So we will just go to this code file and we will copy this code. So what it specifies is, see, this is the navigation, which makes sense. It has two fragments in it, the title fragment and the game fragment. As you can see, the title fragment and the game fragment. And it has the layout. The layout is linking to this XML file. This layout is linking to this XML file and so on, right? Now, see, again, let me go to this design file and you can see that now it is visible. So what I need to do is, as soon as the user click on the play button, I should redirect it to this game fragment. So what I will do is I will just simply click and I will paste here. You guys can see that over here in the upper right corner, it has defined an ID, action title fragment to game fragment. So it is indicating that I am moving from the title fragment to the game fragment, right? Now we have defined the graphs, but we need to inform the Android Studio, or we need to inform the Android operating system where to actually place this graph. As I earlier said, you create a sandwich and then you place it inside the plate, right? So till now we have created this graph, but there must be some way to place it inside. So we need to place it inside the activity underscore main XML file. Earlier we placed only the title fragment, but now we need to place the entire graph, right? So am I making sense somehow? Earlier we placed only the title fragment, but now we need to place the entire graph, which is defined in the navigation.xml file, right? So follow, are you guys following? Or am I going too fast or too slow? Following, okay. So for that, we have Android nav host fragment, right? So as the name suggests, the nav host fragment, the name itself says that it will host the navigation, which you have defined, it will host it. So let me remove this fragment and enter this. So the ID is my host fragment, the layout width is math parent, height is math parent, and the important concept, the navigation graph, the sandwich which is played inside is this. The navigation graph is this. Inside the navigation, we are this navigation.xml. So it is linked to this. Okay. So now we have created the sandwich. We have placed it inside the plate. Now it's time to again run and see what our application will look like. The greater build is running. We need to wait for a while. As I earlier said, you in Android we need to be patient because sometimes the greater build can take too long to start. So are you guys enjoying so far? Meanwhile, my greater build, yeah, too much patiently enjoying. Okay. Still it is running. And now we can see that it has completed the running. But I click on the play button and nothing happens. Why? Can you guys think about it? We have defined everything. We have defined the navigation. We have placed it inside the activity, but nothing is going on. Why? Because see, we have defined everything, but we have not defined the click listener on the play button, right? See, this title fragment has the game fragment behind it, but we need to inform it to the play button that whenever you are clicked, just click on the game fragment. Again, making sense? So we need to go to this title fragment, and inside the play button, we need to define a listener. So let me go to this title fragment, and in here, let me define a listener. Just click on alternator to fix the dependency. Again, click on alternator, action title fragment to this, create. Just wait a second. Title fragment to this because straight layout images. I think the problem is with the ID. Yeah, see here it is title fragment and not the start description is okay. So it has renamed the title fragment to title fragment 2. So each and every time I need to define it as title fragment 2. Great. So in here I will say the title fragment to this title fragment 2 to this game fragment. See, it is just a copy paste mistake. I have like pasted the title fragment and again so it has renamed it the title fragment to the title fragment 2. So what does this line basically indicates? It indicates that whenever the play button is clicked, just find the new controller. That means this new controller will help us to navigate. Then navigate to this action title fragment to game fragment, right? As the name suggests, we will move from the title fragment to the game fragment. So let me run now and let me see that whether my app is working or not. It is installing. I don't know why today it is this much slow. Otherwise, it should. Do you have a link to its path? Yes. The link I have shared to you. Again, let me share the link. So yes, this is the link of our Codelab. And yes, our app has built. And now you guys can see it. When I click on the play button, this game fragment is visible. What was the problem earlier? Didn't define the on-click listener to this play button. Now you guys can see that this screen is visible to us, right? But when I click on submit, nothing happens. So it must redirect me to this either the success layout or the failure layout, right? Whether the congratulations or I have made some mistakes. Do you guys remember that our layout or what we like think of doing? What can you guys remember? See, we need to do something like this. Up till now, we are at this point, right? Now we need to say that okay, if this is successful, redirect here, and this is unsuccessful, then redirect over here. So we need to do something like that. Okay, the goal is clear. Yes or no? Or should I go fast or slow? Okay. So now in the navigation.xml, as I said you, all the navigation path will be placed over here. So I need to just import this game over fragment and I will place it over here. And similarly, I need to import the game one fragment. All these are provided in the starter code, so don't worry about it. And I just need to link it. So if he has made any errors, so it will redirect to here, and if not, then the redirection will take place from here. Great. Okay. Yeah. But now I need to also change the submit code, right? That means in the listener of the submit, I need to specify a condition that if it is successful, then redirect to here. If it is unsuccessful, then redirect to here. So for that, let me go in the navigation and let me alter its code. For that, we will go to this game fragment. And all this is starter code. So let me guide you over the logic. It has this many questions in it, and out of this, it is randomly selecting three questions, and it is posting the solutions, right? And we will have three questions in it. And as soon as the three questions are finished, if we have answered all of the three correctly, then we will have congratulations. Otherwise, we will have the failure. So in here we have one navigate fragment. So let me do this code. So what does this code indicate is if we have won, then redirect to the game one fragment. Similarly, if we have lost, then we should redirect to the game lost fragment. Game over fragment. So again, if we have won, then redirect to this fragment, else redirect to this fragment. Following along? Yes. Okay, thanks. Now, now I will show you something very interesting, right? Up till now, if I'm not again running it because it will take some time in building. Just assume that the three questions are displayed and all the three questions are displayed, and if you have answered them correctly, then it will redirect to this, else it will redirect to the try again. But if let us say you are a user, right, and you are in this fragment, and if you click on the black back button, what should happen? Where you should be redirected to? If you are in